Mood I'm in tonight, man. Tonight I'm in the type of mood that I don't really give a fuck. To be honest with you guys, I'm in that type of mood where this stream is going to be my happy place, and it always is, and it always should be. But tonight we have so many different things we're going to cover, and I feel like I've officially reached my final form when it comes to live streaming and really deciding which direction I want to go with it. And I've really reached my point where I don't really give a fuck what people have to say anymore, Chad. I've been reaching a lot of people, a lot of new people, but also getting a lot of different reactions. And I've come to the conclusion that the only reason I'm getting this type of pushback is because I'm doing the right things and hitting the right points and making the right moves. So I'm just at the point now, look, if you're watching this stream, you choose to come in, you're in my house. This is our house, and we're going to do what the fuck we want to do in our house, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate you guys. I'm a little bit juiced up, a little jacked up off the coffee tonight. We got that Thailand Brazilian bold all the way from the 7-Eleven. And I'm just starting to feel a little bit of energy off of it, feeling good. I'm out here able to move my arms for the first time in 3 days. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I started working out. I did. I started working out. And I made the rookie mistake when working out of assuming that you're capable of actually jumping in at the level of somebody who does it regularly. So I haven't, I've had points in my life where I've worked out. I've had even stints, I would say, that lasted 6, 7, 8 months of working out. But lately, definitely not. And I feel like it's just something I've been wanting to jump back into. I'm a walker. I walk all day. So that's typically how I stay healthy, but I'm not feeling it lately. I'm feeling like I could do better. So I go upstairs to the gym, and I hit a workout that was pretty intense. I would say even for somebody who works out on a regular basis, the workout that I hit the other day was pretty intense. I feel like those people would even give respect to that type of workout. And I was lifting weights that were actually heavier. I need some water because I'm getting that cotton mouth. Hang on a second. My shit's just out of reach. I'm not going to put you through it. That's the rookie move. Not having the water ready is the rookie move, but I will allow it. I will allow it, chat. We're all human. We're not perfect. So I hit this workout. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have barely been able to move ever since. And yeah, I kind of fucked myself up. So look, man, slow growth, slow build, slow process. That's ultimately what I believe in. So we're going to try to go back. We're going to hit it again. Tonight we have a super pack stream, so let's jump into it. Enough messing around. We have Joe Rogan speaking on some more of his concerns on the current war under Donald Trump that's happening in Iran, making a pretty interesting point that I do want to take a look at. So that's going to be our lead story for tonight. Rogan speaking on the war, talking about the fact that death is imminent, and we haven't specified for who yet, is going to impact the outcome of the war. We have a couple of Rogan clips. We have Theo Vaughn, who is making huge waves with his latest political clip. We're going to take a look at that. A clip, by the way, that I didn't really expect from Theo, to be completely honest with you guys. He went crazy in this new video, so we're going to take a look at that. We have Tucker Carlson claiming that the CIA is currently plotting against him and planning to frame him for a crime. We're going to look at that video and break it down. Tucker also flirting with the idea of running for office. And then we also have this Live Nation story, which is insane. The employees at Live Nation caught in a group chat making fun of how stupid concert goers are for paying the prices of the tickets that they've actually decided to pay. So this is a big scandal that's been going on. These guys have been basically under investigation for creating a ticket mafia, a ticket monopoly. So all of these stories coming up in tonight's stream. And then after that, we're going to jump over to try to do some live interviews on this website. So let's hop in. Enough messing around. We have our first clip here of Joe Rogan. So this is what Rogan had to say. And this is, I got to say, a pretty valid criticism of not only the war in Iran, but I would say just the political systems in general in the United States. Let's take a listen.
He's 80. He doesn't have much to lose.
Right.
You
Last
know,
term.
That's the scary thing about old leaders. It's like death is imminent. It's within a decade if you're lucky. That's spooky. That's spooky. Like, you're making decisions for babies and children and the future of the world, and you've only got 10 years left on Earth. He's 80. He doesn't have much to lose.
Right.
You
Last
know,
term.
That's the scary thing about old leaders. It's like death is imminent. It's within a decade if you're lucky. That's spooky. That's spooky. Like, you're making decisions for babies and children and the future of the world.
Joe Rogan speaking on Donald Trump and the fact that his age and his current point in life may actually be influencing some of his decisions and potentially some of the outcomes here. Not only when it comes to the war, but I think Joe is more so insinuating the fact that old leaders is a problem. Now, look, I do think he makes a good point here. I know people who reach the age of 55 and basically just stop caring. I know people even younger than that. 50s is being generous. There's people who reach a certain point in life, even in their mid-30s or 40s, where they just kind of stop caring. I feel like today it's a lot more common. People don't really care anymore about, general civil behavior, being polite to one another, treating each other with decency. That's kind of all fallen off the map, even for younger people nowadays. Now, you think of the typical person who's 80 years old. Think about even people in your family. They don't give a fuck. The people I know who are 80 years old, they're great people. They're good people. But when it comes to, how other people necessarily feel or whatever, or, not inconveniencing others, or they don't give a fuck. And you kind of earn that at a certain point, too, when you're 80 years old. Now, in the case of Donald Trump, imagine being 80 years old and also being the leader of the planet Earth and also having fuck you money. It does make sense that he would not care at all at this point. I mean, what is there to care about? You run the world. You have enough money to last your bloodline for, 150 years from now. And you're 80 years old. Nobody's really going to tell you shit. Plus, you're a 2-time president. So, yeah, I agree with Joe. I think there's a big concern here. And I think it also shows in the way that Trump conducts himself in this second term. I mean, and I've said this on past streams. He was claimed to have said a lot of offensive things in 2016 when he first became president. People, oh my God, he's so offensive. He said that, he said this or he said that. The quotes that Trump has from his first term, if you go back and look at those videos of the stuff that was deemed to be shocking, it's not even offensive at all by today's standards or compared to what he's done in this current term. Dude does not give a fuck anymore. Bro looked at a female reporter in the face and called her piggy. And I'm not sitting here outraged. I mean, I laughed when I saw it. I don't think it's right. But you got to admit, it's so ridiculous. It's got to make you laugh in a certain sense. So my point is this, guys. Rogan is dead on here. Not only do we have a guy who really throughout his whole life has been known for not really giving a fuck what people think and not necessarily being worried about it, but he's also getting older, and we're seeing sort of his cognitive ability slip to a degree, and that does impact you and that does affect you. So trusting people at this stage in their lives, at this stage in the game, with the nuclear button and wars and all these decisions, what do you guys think? I mean, maybe not the best choice. You guys let me know down below in the chat. What do you think? I mean, again, my perspective on it is there needs to be age limits and term limits immediately all across government. And that's every government. I think every single government on the planet should have age limits. And I do find it actually quite shocking that after the Joe Biden debacle, there hasn't been a more serious push for age limits in the government. That is the thing that kind of freaks me out, because it was such a ridiculous scandal, but also such an avoidable scandal. If you just don't have a guy who's that old in office, you're never going to have these issues. You're never going to have to cover it up either. It's such an avoidable issue. And I just don't understand. Somebody should just sign a piece of paper. And people say it's not that easy. It seems to be that easy for a lot of things. Look, Trump has made a lot of shit happen with executive orders. Somebody needs to sign something to make it so that people, I would say probably 70 and up, cannot be in government whatsoever. I think 70 years old. What do you guys think in the chat? What's a good age? What is a good age to stop people from running things? I'm seeing 70 in the chat. Yeah, 70's good, right? Yes, I feel like 70 is probably the best age. Because here's my thing. What is the argument in support of people older than that running things? I don't understand the angle. Like, what would be the argument in favor of that to say that this is a positive thing for any country? And this isn't even an American thing. This is for every country. So yeah, Rogan's right. We'll play the clip one more time. It's 20 seconds just for anybody who just joined. And drop your thoughts on Trump. And do you guys think Trump is too old as well? Let me know about that.
He's 80. He doesn't have much to lose.
Right. Last term.
That's the scary thing about old leaders. It's like death is imminent. It's within a decade if you're lucky. That's spooky. That's spooky. Like, you know, you're making decisions for babies and children and the future of the world, and you've only got 10, maybe 10 years left on Earth. He's 80.
I mean, he's not wrong. That's the thing, guys. He's not wrong. I'm seeing 60 years old is a limit. 60 is maybe a little, I don't know. Because here's the thing, like, there are 80-year-olds who are sharp, too. Like, there's 80-year-olds who would probably be qualified to actually run the country in a case of exception. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't have the limits. 60-year-olds, I think there's higher chances of them doing it right. I think, like, maybe 65 would be a good limit. You guys let me know what you think. I'm seeing age discrimination is okay, but racial discrimination is not. Who said racial discrimination isn't okay? I never said that, lady. No, I'm just playing. It's not discrimination to say that you need term limits or age limits. That there's nothing discriminatory about that. In the same sense that you need to be 18 years old to enlist for certain things, or to buy certain things. I mean, it's just, yeah, that's not discrimination. 80's too old. Yeah, I agree. Until you can, let me see. I'm trying to read good comments. Not too many sharp 80-year-olds. I agree that they shouldn't be running the country, ATL. I'm not saying they should be running the world. What I'm saying is that there are sharp 80-year-olds. Like, I know 80-year-olds who are more well-read than some of these 60-year-old politicians and have better points to make and better ideas. Yeah, calling it discrimination is crazy. That's crazy as hell. So we have some more Rogan clips here, guys. Make sure to smash that like and smash that sub. We have so many different stories tonight. It's unbelievable. But yeah, for this first one, I'm going to say Rogan is dead on. And it's nice to see Rogan, by the way, speaking factually about things again. Again, I generally tend to like Rogan, but I did feel like this past year, like right after Trump first won, it just didn't seem like he was speaking from his chest and speaking from the heart as much. And it just seemed like his points were kind of watered down. Lately, he's been making some really great points and actually hitting the mark, I would say, on a lot of different things. So W. Rogan. Let's go. Let's just jump right into the Theo Von clip, guys. So Theo Von is making a splash across the internet with his latest take, and people are officially saying that Theo Von is woken up. They're saying he's complete. It's like his third eye is opened. He's had, I guess, a political awakening or an awakening about the people who are running the world, at least in his opinion. And he had something to say about it in the opening monologue of his latest podcast. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what Theo had to say. I have not previewed this clip, so I'm curious to see what is going to be said here. You guys drop your comments. Let's watch.
I have spoken about this before, but I do have a lot of uncomfort about America's relationship with Israel, the Israeli political leaders. That's what I mean.
Oh, he just jumped right in the deep end. Hang on a second. That one deserves a rewind. My dude just went from interviewing governors and shit and like kind of being part of it to now Israel runs the world on the opening of the show. Hang on a minute.
I have spoken about this before, but I do have a lot of uncomfort about America's relationship with Israel, the Israeli political leaders. That's what I mean. I believe that group it just feels like a satanic regime. It doesn't seem, it feels like they just want to cause pain.
Whoa.
They just, I mean, they don't even know where all the bodies from Gaza are, and they're already moved on to other places that they are attacking, and that America's associated now with their attacks. And I believe that will come here one day. I don't believe that the Israeli leaders, that they have any intention to stop that. I don't see that they have any care for the American people. It doesn't seem like that. I've never heard that spoken.
Triples down. God damn, Theo.
And I believe that if we don't
Theo, chill, because I like you, Theo. Theo, my guy, listen. We're going to have a heart-to-heart. I know I'm on stream and you're doing your show, but me and Theo, we're going to have a heart-to-heart for a second. Theo, this is just me and you now. I like having you around, buddy. That's all I want to say. I mean, look, and I know my chat agrees, we like Theo Von. We like having Theo Von dropping new content and doing his shows, and I like that. So, let's keep that in mind when we're talking on platforms like this. And we got to read between the lines of what I'm saying too. It's not a judgment of whether he's correct or not. I'm just saying, I like Theo Von. Don't you?
American people, it doesn't seem like that. I've never heard that spoken. And I believe that if we don't speak up now, that our children won't have the chance to speak up, either by law or by worse. And I don't understand our government's relationship with Israel's leaders and with Israel's government. I don't understand it. It feels like there's this war machine, and then our soldiers are put into these spaces, and they're just there to serve an America that they believe in. And it's no knock against them or anything like that. It's just, it just feels like it's causing a lot of pain and fear. And yeah, I don't understand I don't understand Trump's relationship. I don't understand our political, why we are so beholden to this government, this Israeli government that just seems to be obsessed with control. And it feels like bloodlust, like they just it's not enough. Like after what happened in Gaza, I don't see how there could be any.
Dude, he's quadrupling down with the pictures on screen. Are you guys surprised to see this or not? I mean, look, this is going deep for Theo's standards. I mean, this is a comedian, guys. This is not a guy who typically breaks character. He's not being funny at all here. Like, this is way outside of the level of what I expected for Theo.
I don't see how there could be any other view. They're making laws now. There are bills being presented where we won't even have a chance to have a voice at some point. There's surveillance infrastructure that's being put into place. There's a lot of things happening right now, and some people are like, well, it's too much for me to get involved in. I understand that. But yeah, I believe that if we don't speak up now, and it may already be too late, but if we don't speak up now, that one day our kids will not be able to. And it's disappointing to me too that a lot of our religious leaders haven't said anything. I don't understand it.
The religious leaders are part of it. That's why. I mean, look at the Christian Zionists in the United States and just take a look at the paper trail. All of the quote-unquote religious leaders who are involved in government or big business, the vast majority of them in the States, and this is verifiable. This is not trust me, bro type of information. This is a fact. The vast majority of them are Christian Zionists. Did you guys watch the new Tucker Carlson episode that just came out? I was just saying yesterday how I never watch podcasts. I never do, because I'm always doing my own content. I just watched this episode with Tucker Carlson today where his guest explained this, and I'm going to be doing more research on it, but it is fascinating. The amount of Christian Zionists who actually masquerade as just Christians, who are getting stuff done in government under this ruse. It is absolutely stunning stuff.
And I think this has been going on for a long time. I do not understand Trump's like infatuation with or like beholding to this government. But they've had, Israeli government's been involved in America for a long time throughout countless political party leaders. So it's nothing new. It just feels very extreme right now, and it feels very scary. That's what it feels like. And I don't understand how our relationship with them is helping America.
I'm just gonna start clapping right in the room. Hold on, that's why I need a new mic stand. That looks crazy. I want to literally stand up and start clapping in the room, guys, for Theo Von. Theo Von, you know what? I gotta thank Theo. I gotta thank Theo for taking his platform and opening his show with that message, because that to me was so important. And it kind of goes with the theme of what I spoke about on yesterday's show. We're in a time now where it's easy to write people off and say, hey man, I don't want to hear celebrities talk about politics. It's too much for me to understand, or I don't want to make a statement on this. And like he even said in the video, all of that is fine to a degree. But also, like, with the level of things going on, it does make sense that more people now today are going to want to speak up and say something about these issues. And look, I think Theo's within his rights. He's in a unique position too, because he's had interviews. I mean, he basically helped Trump get elected. And that to me is why I think we're seeing almost a level of guilt from Theo, and like maybe more of a push to talk about this now. Because what I think happened was Theo found himself, unfortunately, having become a cog in the machine. Theo, I think, took an opportunity when Trump was trying to win the election again that most podcasters would have taken. I want to start by saying that. I would have taken it at that moment in time, because that moment in time with Donald Trump, before the Epstein files really blew up, when for some reason it became cool to like Donald Trump, like 2 months before he was elected, it seemed like everybody became a Trump supporter for 2 minutes. That lead up to his last election, where he actually won, was a very different moment for Trump. So a lot of podcasters, a lot of streamers, a lot of people jumped on that opportunity, and they had him on and were basically used to help him win the election. It was framed to all these podcasters that it was just a good opportunity to get the president on, which of course it is. I mean, that's a game changer for any podcaster. But they were used, and Trump basically raped these people's platforms and used them to win the election. Without these shows, without Theo, without Aiden Ross, without Joe Rogan, there is no President Trump in this election cycle. It wouldn't have happened. So I think Theo he's waking up now. He's looking around at the world, and he's seeing these wars. He's seeing all these things happening. He's seeing the fact that Trump and most people in and around his government are bought and sold by Israel. And that's not a hypothesis, that's a fact. He's seeing all of these things happening that he disagrees with. And moreover, he actually helped this person get this position of power. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense why Theo would want to talk about this now. If he, somebody who talks about this now, it's a mark of having a conscience. That's what I would say. The guys who don't care, like the Jake Pauls or these idiots who double down, they're using Trump for clout just like he's using them for votes or for support. But a guy like Theo, I don't think that was ever his intention. And it does seem to me like Theo ended up being a cog in the machine that he didn't want to be, and now he's using his platform for a greater good. So I got big respect for Theo Von, man. And he's taking a risk. That's what people need to understand. He's taking a huge risk by speaking like this. Chat says, Theo realized he was being used. Exactly. It would have happened anyway. What would have happened anyway? I'm not old enough to remember. I love when people say you're not old enough to remember. There's something called the internet. So I actually didn't have to be there when it happened. I can go and look at it and learn about it. I don't need to. I'm not old enough to remember Kiss either when they were here, but I happen to know a lot about them. That's funny. So yeah, I think Theo is what I got to say for this one, man. I appreciate Theo using his platform for this, and I just hope he doesn't put himself in a bad position, because he's said a lot just in that video clip. There's been people, think about the cancellations, think about people who lose their positions or lose, their shows or their deals, being labeled as a racist or a hater or whatever. A lot of people who've been banned or blackballed from the industry, they actually said a lot less than Theo said, even in this 3-minute clip. So what do you guys think is going to happen to Theo? Do you guys, I don't know. I hope nothing, when I say happens to him, maybe getting blackballed. That's kind of what I mean. All right, let's hop over to the next one. Let's go to, we got the Tucker stuff. We have Live Nation. We have, let me see, Andrew Tate. What do you guys want? Should we look at Tucker? Tucker claims that the CIA is trying to frame him for a crime. I feel like that's a pretty weird story, especially given his ties to the CIA. Maybe we'll look at that one. I'll pull that up. Nothing's going to happen to Theo, says Barco. Nothing, because Theo mostly owns his platform. That's true. You can't really cancel somebody, to be fair. You can't really cancel somebody who is not beholden to other people. But they could blackball him from performing. They could blackball him from these other things. I don't know. Somebody's asking about Candace and Charlie Kirk. Oh my God, dude. Well, Candace Owens just posted a thing today. I thought this was in such poor taste, by the way. We'll look at Andrew in a second, Becca. I just wanted to do this one real quick from Candace. So did you guys see that Candace Owens actually had a beef with Meghan McCain on X? I don't know what the beef actually stemmed from, but there was a post that Meghan McCain had put that says, stop sharing dead people's text messages, you're absolute psychopaths. So again, I don't know. I think this might have been, I don't know what this stemmed from. I'm not going to try to make up an answer. But then Candace Owens responded with a text from Charlie Kirk that said Meghan McCain is a piece of shit. Did you guys see that? So it is being reported that this is an unverified text from Charlie Kirk and that this may actually have been a troll. It's not confirmed that this is a real text, but nonetheless, man, something like this to me is really, really, this just kind of is sickening to me, to be completely honest. It doesn't sit well with me because now we're using our friend's death for clicks and clout now. That's kind of what we're doing. If this is a real text message which is not confirmed to be real yet. We're going to wait. But if this is real and she's like picking through the text messages of her dead friend like 6 months after he was killed, like you're like picking like a vulture now. Like you're picking the meat off the bones. And it just kind of is weird to me. I think she's doing too much. Like, and I don't dislike Candace. I think Candace is a skilled broadcaster. I always give her credit for her broadcasting prowess. She's an incredibly gifted speaker, and she knows how to deliver a message well. That's why she has so many fans. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and dispute her talents. But the stuff she's doing with Charlie Kirk and going after his wife, which there is a lot of stuff against his wife. I'll give her that. I'm not saying that she's wrong. I'm just saying the way that she's doing it, it gets to a level where it's like, it's too much. I don't know. What I'm seeing in my chat, like a lot of people agree. Yeah, it is kind of wicked, man. I agree. Like, I don't know. It's enough with the Charlie Kirk shit. The man is dead. The man is dead. Just let him rest in peace. I don't know what we're doing with this Charlie Kirk shit now. It's too much. It's too much. Let's go ahead and look at this video of Andrew Tate. I did watch a little bit of this video, and I thought it was interesting to look at. Tate gets a lot of hate, and every time I play him on my streams, people are like, why are you watching Andrew Tate? I think this is an interesting clip.
It cannot continue this way. This is the reset. The entire global economy is fraud. I told you years ago, money isn't real. I've said repeatedly, money isn't real. And people are like, what do you mean? None of it's real. GDP isn't real. The stock market isn't real. It's all made up. Every single person in any single position of power, take it from me, is stealing. Every single person in any single position of power is stealing. Zelensky's wife started a prosthetics company before the war. Now when you get your leg blown off in the Goy battle, you have to get a government contract, you get your government money to buy yourself a new leg from her company.
We're going to fact check that, by the way.
As if they don't steal enough. Now, on top of all the other money they steal from the American taxpayer, and the American taxpayer keeps sending it because the American politicians are getting a cutback. On top of that all, she owns a company that will sell you a plastic arm. This is just the beginning. You think all the people in government didn't position themselves correctly before missiles started flying? You think people aren't getting rich off this shit? Everyone is stealing. Everyone is raping. It is the end. The Titanic has hit the iceberg and everybody is just raiding the minibar. Anyone who can is. Everyone's stealing. Everyone. This cannot continue. There will be a revolution in the streets. It is over. Everything you knew about the Western world, the societal contract, the I pay taxes, I get an education, I buy a house, it's over. They're going to keep increasing taxes. They're going to keep adding wealth taxes. Before soon, they're just going to forcibly seize your assets. It's going to take all your houses. You think you own your house. You know what you should do? You should go buy some land. You don't own anything you can't defend, and you don't have more guns than the government, sir. Take it from me, a man who pissed the government off. Turns out I didn't own anything. I had car deeds and I had a house deed. Guess what? A judge stamped a different piece of paper. Turns out they didn't work. Hi, men with guns. I actually own this house. Yeah, nice try, buddy. Get the fuck out. You're going to jail.
He's cooking right now.
None of it's real.
He's cooking right now with this. That's an absolute fact. Tell people that you own anything when they're coming to get you with guns and see how much you actually own.
Work. Hi, men with guns. I actually own this house.
That's
yeah,
true.
Nice try, buddy. Get the fuck out. You're going to jail. None of it's real. You don't own anything. They're coming for everything. The reason they're investing so hard into AI is because they need AI to control everybody and imprison everybody with the speed mass trials which are going to be required during the revolution. They need to put you in front of an AI judge which scans your entire life and everything you've ever said and decides you're guilty, to put you in the AI gulag. They know it's going to blow up. They know it's over. They know a revolution is coming. Everyone is trying to stuff their pockets filled with cash. Fill their pockets with cash. Get the AI overlord in. Make sure the AI overlord controls everything. CBDCs, controls where you go, controls what you say. That is the future, and it is within our lifetimes. 15 years is optimistic. Less than that. You think we can continue? The Strait of fucking Hormuz is closed. Every single American woman is a whore. Every single American man has given up on even having a fucking wife and children because they're
bro, he's fucking funny, man. This is why, like, he'll just say some out of pocket shit. He's in the middle of this super, like, almost eloquent speech, like a really thoughtful, you know, well put together monologue. And then he's just like, every single woman in America is a whore. Like, the way this dude is fucking hilarious. This
all
guy.
Fucking sluts. American man has given up on even having a fucking wife and children because they're all fucking sluts. The economy's fake. No one can pay the bills. Everyone's in fucking debt. Everything is being blown up left and right. The politicians we vote for ignore us if the elections are real at all. The people we give a mandate to, the people who we say should listen to us for our interests, do the absolute opposite. Anyone in any position of power is stealing. The media only tells you lies. Absolutely everything on the media is constantly and endlessly a lie. They even censor the internet. You can't send a $10,000 bank transfer without the IRS breathing down your neck. However, they can fucking launder millions. Somali daycares, they can steal billions of dollars. You can't take fucking $5,000 out your bank without doing paperwork. Explain that to me.
Facts.
How long do you think
it's all true?
It's going to continue? There's drugs everywhere. There's crime everywhere.
Tell me it's not true, guys. For real.
Nobody's trying to fix it. They're all just busy stealing. How long do you think this fucking charade can continue for? This ends one way. And anyone who's studied history knows how these things end. Because the only true force, political force, cultural force, the only force, whether for good or for evil, is violence. That's it.
Damn, dude. Interesting thoughts, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's a lot to unpack there, guys, but my chat knows it's all facts. And I appreciate that you guys can understand it. People, you guys are saying that he lost you when he said all American women are whores. I mean, yeah, I think he's joking, guys. That's the thing. I mean, the thing about Tate is he's also like a comedian in one sense too, because like he'll say a lot of shit that's not actually true. I mean, I don't think you can say a whole country has like a population of whores. I don't date American women though, but that's because of their attitudes. That's a whole other story. I don't like bad attitudes, so I choose not to. But I mean, you can't really paint with a wide brush like that. But nah, man, Tate speaking facts. It is crazy. And look, guys, this is why I always say on my streams, and I really want to try to drive this point home. If there's ever been something that you want to do or a way that you want to live your life that you haven't got to do or pursue, go and try to at least start pursuing it now. Like if there's a place that you want to travel, start planning to actually go there now. If there's ever anything that you want to do it. Because we're at a point now where I strongly have a feeling and strongly believe that we're not going to be able to do as much as we've been able to do in the past very, very soon. Even look at all of this hoopla with travel, how hard it's becoming to travel. All these flights are canceled because of these missiles in the Middle East, and you know, planes keep crashing and routes keep getting canceled and immigration changes. It almost seems like a calculated attempt to make it harder to travel, to make it more challenging for people to travel. Have you guys noticed that? All of a sudden, it's a nightmare to travel. It's like the Truman Show. It doesn't matter what the reason is. There's always something. You try to travel, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, there's a war, there's missiles, the flight is canceled, you know, the pilot fell asleep. There's always some excuse to stop us from traveling now. Negative story after negative story. Countries are changing who can enter and for how long. There's a lot of things changing. So if there's anything that you've ever wanted to do, I think this is the time to do it. And that, guys, is why I left North America. Now, people have told me all types of things. They say, oh, you know, you left your country and you should have stayed there to fight for your country. I've made it very clear. I will go back and fight for my country when everybody else will fight with me, because I can't fight a war by myself. You know, every day I try to fight sitting here on my live stream and talking about it. That's how I fight. But I can't be in the streets fighting a war of one. What did Kanye say about, you know, if you see a guy running down the highway in his underwear sweating by himself, he's crazy. But if you see 5,000 people doing it, it's called a marathon. That's the same thing with war. If you see one soldier in the street with gear and camo and guns, he looks like a lunatic. But you got 5,000 troops there, that's an army. So I can't stay there to fight by myself. All this to say, the reason I left was not to run from it. I'm down to fight. But it was because I was like, I need to do whatever the fuck I want right now. I've had this sinking feeling for the past 2 years that our travel's going to be restricted, that we're not going to be able to access money in the way that we always have. Things are going to start getting just more controlled. And we saw it during the pandemic. I mean, my right to travel was completely restricted. I did not take the vaccine. So I was told as a Canadian I would never travel again. That's what I was told. I was told you will never, ever leave this country again with vaccine passports. If that's a possibility now in the current age, I mean, it just happened. What's to make us think that this won't ever happen again? What's to make us think that travel will just remain open? I could totally see a time when we're telling our kids, you know, back in the day, you used to be able to go wherever you wanted. Like, you could get on a plane and just go to Africa. You could get on a plane and go to Korea. That's how it used to be in the world. Before 15-minute cities and, you know, all of this control. So, little bit of a sidebar, but my point is this. If you've ever wanted to live your life in a certain way, give it a shot now, because I mean, this is your last chance. This is our last chance. I truly do believe that. This is our last chance. The empire is falling. Don't you feel it? I feel it. I see it every day. I come back and look at news in Canada and from back home, hoping it's getting better. It's just getting worse every single day. It's getting worse every single day. Thank you guys for the subs. I appreciate that. Shout out the chat, man. We got Helly, ATL, Barcos, Becca, Harry, Andy. I see you guys, man. I appreciate you guys for being here. So yeah, shout out Tate, W Tate. I don't want to spend all night on one story here. Let's get some other stuff. We have so much. Damn, I can't be showing a guy getting beat up. I was gonna react to that story, but I realized I can't show like a violent story. But yeah, they've been taking care of the bad tourists in Thailand, bro. Where I'm at. Very happy to see that. All right, guys, let's go over to... Let's go to Tucker Carlson. I'm curious to see what he had to say about this CIA thing. So I don't know if you guys actually saw it, but Tucker Carlson is claiming that he is actually being targeted by the CIA and that there's plans right now in the works for him to actually be charged with some form of crime. Now, he explains it in this video, which we're going to play now. But this is a really strange, really strange. And I don't know what's exactly going on with Tucker behind the scenes right now. I don't know if they deleted his X account or what. I can't even find it right now. What the fuck? I'm looking up Tucker Carlson and I can't find it. Let me try to... this is weird. He's being suppressed now? Tucker... Does he not have X anymore? Dude, I had to Google it 3 times to find it. Yeah, there's some real spooky stuff happening with Tucker right now. He's involved in some really bad stuff. Because you guys just saw that. Okay, let's watch this video. Let's hear him explain it. And I'm going to try to wrap my mind around this.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report, to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war.
We're talking about Tucker right now, Beastie. Shout out to you, brother.
My texts. So the crime...
Hold on. Just run it back.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report, to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that, nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now, too.
Yeah, I see in the chat he's definitely taken money. I mean, yeah, dude, he was working for Fox News. That's the only disingenuous thing he said so far. I mean, how many years was Tucker on Fox News? Pretty much being a talking head for the establishment. I mean, you look at the Tucker from today compared to the Tucker back then, totally different guy. I was never a fan of Tucker when he was on Fox News because he was regurgitating establishment talking points. So to act like he's never taken money from the establishment, disingenuous, and also his family is tied to the CIA. So something, I got to throw that in there.
Another point to make that is worth knowing is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by Julian Assange and Ed Snowden, both of whom are threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows. But it's probably a little more widespread than most people understand, and it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder in it, you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this. But it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons that CIA, or people within CIA, just to be clear, it's a huge, sprawling, disconnected agency. What it does in a specific case doesn't represent what everybody in the building thinks, but there are some people who are mad at me for my views about Israel. And they have some latitude. And one of the reasons they pass on criminal complaints, in effect, to law enforcement is to justify warrants for spying on Americans. So that is an absolutely real thing. But the main reason they do it is to leak the existence of the investigation, such as it is, to the media, and then humiliate and terrify the subjects of this op. And that's, of course, happened to me repeatedly, many times, including in famously 2021 when I was still at Fox News and trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin. And the NSA, I heard from someone there, had grabbed my text messages with an American citizen and had leaked them to news outlets. Those texts were basically my attempts to set up an interview with the foreign head of state, and they leaked them to the New York Times in order to stop the interview, which they successfully did, by the way. And they admitted that they were spying on me. This is not a fantasy. It actually happened. They did it again 2 years later. My second attempt to get a Putin interview, I managed to get it anyway, and they've done it since. And so when you get a call from a reporter who knows the contents of your texts, it's pretty clear something's going on. None of this, in my judgment, as of right now, is...
Do you guys believe this or what? I mean, these are some pretty wild claims here. But to be honest, though, maybe I got to walk that back for a second. Is it really wild to believe that the NSA would be spying on people? I mean, maybe not, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot crazier things that happen on a daily basis that are confirmed, and a lot harder things for them to pull off as well. So, I mean, I kind of believe it. And, just to throw it out there, too, this is the type of stuff that makes me nervous about this line of work. The streaming and tackling serious issues. I put my heart into it, and I'm trying to blow this up as big as possible. But it's pretty crazy to picture, like, actually being surveilled like this or harassed by the CIA or the NSA. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. This shit can get serious.
A huge threat to me, so I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are. And you should know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not, including what I'm describing now. But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies, because there are decent, hardworking Americans who work in the intel agencies. They're Americans, just like there are decent, hardworking Americans who work at the DMV. But there are also people with agendas and grudges and no sense of restraint who are happy to misuse the power they have, granted them by our elaborate secrecy laws, to hurt fellow Americans for ideological reasons. That is entirely real. That's the story of Russiagate. And it's likely that things like that will begin to happen at greater scale now. So you should just know that going forward. Thanks.
Tucker Carlson breaking down what he calls basically the CIA trying to frame him for a crime of being an agent of a foreign nation. Now, this to me is just a little bit odd, and it's almost like one of the classic PSYOP recipes that people will do. When you look at Tucker's show in the past couple of years even, one of the main things that he's been tackling when it comes to topics about the U.S. government is the presence of what he deems to be foreign agents, or at least people who are acting on the behalf and in the interest of foreign governments. He's been tackling that issue and trying to actually expose those people and even have interventions with those people through his work. I mean, that's been a central theme, talking about how other countries are being put ahead of his own country, and how people in the American government and big business are actually acting upon the interests of those nations and not the United States. So it's awfully funny that that's been a central theme of Tucker's work. So what did these guys do in response? They try to flip this back on him and Uno reverse it. So they say, you've been investigating foreign agents. We're actually going to flip it on you. And now you're actually the foreign agent, and we're going to put you in jail for it. It's just too classic when it comes to a PSYOP. It's just like the Michael Jackson thing. Michael Jackson is going up against a bunch of evil pedophiles at Sony Music. So what do? They put out a whole thing that Michael Jackson is a pedophile. So now the actual pedophiles are making a campaign that this innocent guy is a pedophile. Not only are they going to go after you, they're going to go after you with the same sword that you chased them with. And that's always, to me, the classic indicator of a PSYOP. You're calling someone something, and then all of a sudden there's a huge campaign. Well, that's actually what you're doing. That's when I stopped buying it. Tucker may be a lot of things. I have suspicions about Tucker. I think the whole family history of the CIA and his father, and if you really start looking at all these different connections and stuff with Peter Thiel, and there's a lot of strange things behind the scenes when it comes to Tucker. I don't know exactly who he works for or what his motivations are at this point. But I don't believe he's a foreign agent. I think, if anything, that's pretty ridiculous. And I don't have all the facts. Look, I know there's been talk about him being involved with Russia as well. There's been talks about him being involved with Qatar and maybe being even on their payroll and being an agent of theirs. I mean, there's a lot of people who do believe this. I'm just saying, and I think my point still stands and is valid. It's awfully convenient that the person who's been talking about foreign interception in the government for so long and so adamantly for the past couple of years, now that person is actually deemed to be the foreign agent. I just think that's a little bit coincidental. It's a little bit kind of too perfect, really, to be true. But I don't know. Again, he could be. Never believe that BS. Just reading the chat here. You always get Tucker and Charlie mixed up. I mean, he kind of looks like he could be like Charlie Kirk's dad or something. He's like Charlie Kirk in 20 years. Everything seems shady. I completely agree. What's all this talk about Canada in my chat here? I'm seeing. What's the deal with the Canadian stuff? He's talking about Trump annexing Canada. Canada's on his last dance. Bro, let me tell you something in the chat. Canada's on his last dance on its own, dude. We don't need Trump to be fucked. Canada has done a plenty good job. You know, I always laugh when Canadians complain about Donald Trump. The tariffs are destroying our economy. Trump is killing us. Trump wants to annex us. He's taking, our sovereignty away from our nation. He's taking our culture. You know what's taking Canadian culture? The hundreds of thousands of immigrants that are being funneled into the country and changing the face of the country and the society. You know who's destroying the Canadian economy? The people who are running the Canadian economy. I always laugh when people try to blame Canada's problems on Donald Trump. Now, Trump isn't helping. I mean, if you're, a Canadian, you're going to be paying higher prices based on what Trump is doing in certain scenarios. I mean, he's not putting more money in our pockets. But he's certainly not doing as bad of a job and taking as much money out of our pockets and wasting it as our government is. And see, that Canadians hate it, other Canadians hate it when I talk about Canada. Because in Canada, there's kind of an unspoken rule that we don't really tell the world about our problems. See, Canadians understand that the perception of Canada is that we're just nice people who have it all figured out. And they're very happy with that perception. So what happens is it's an unspoken rule that we don't really talk about our problems. We act like they don't exist. And we just run with the idea that, yeah, we're nice. People there aren't even nice. I mean, really, I don't find Canadians to be particularly friendly at all. I mean, whatsoever. It's a whole other discussion. But there's a coordinated effort to keep our problems quiet. And when I start talking about this stuff, and I have tons of clips that are viral about this. I have videos with millions of views talking about Canada and in contrast to where I currently live now in Asia. And Canadians are the number one people who hate on it. People from other countries love it, but Canadians hate it because they can't tell me that I'm wrong. Americans love to harp on my content because they'll say, well, you're not American, so you don't understand. And in certain instances, they might be correct. I mean, I don't understand everything about America. I don't understand everything about Canada even. But I did live there my whole life, so I understand enough. And Canadians hate it when I make this type of content because they can't tell me I'm wrong. They can't tell me I don't get it. They can't tell me I don't know the ins and outs of the situation because I do. But I don't have the Canadian mentality of we have to make ourselves small. That's what the whole Canadian mentality is. We can't talk about our problems. We can't celebrate our victories too much. We can't have a star system to make streamers and singers and podcasters successful. We have to stay small and just run with this perception that people have of us, of this accepting, tolerant, friendly nation, which could not be further from the truth. So I actually get the most hate back in my home country. People really take issue with me talking about this. And the cool ones don't. I mean, look, I have friends and family, obviously. They're all cool people. They're great people. There's tons of great people in Canada. And the thing I like about Canada is actually the people. But it's not, a friendly place like where people wave at each other walking down the street. I mean, this idea that they're friendly, I mean, not if you don't know them. It's just like any other nation. I don't know where this niceness comes from. I find Canadians to be actually quite cold if you don't know them in a lot of instances. So yeah, that's really what it is, man. Canadians get pissed. I'm seeing in the chat, put those videos up. What videos? Oh, put up the viral videos? I'm not going to watch my own videos. Well, let me play one. I don't know. I mean, Jesus. I'll show you the one clip that they really hated. Actually, we'll look at it on Instagram so we can read some of the comments. You guys don't understand, man. The level of hate that I've gotten recently, I'm not complaining. Like, I don't have any issue with it, but I'm getting used to it. Like, I've never been cooked to the level I've been cooked since I started really going viral. So this is the one they hate. It's such a stupid picture. I look like such a douchebag, but you got to put something for the girls on there too. Bro thinks he's in a Travis Scott video. What is that picture? I want to live in a third world dump in Canada or America, pay 10 times the price for a shittier quality of life, bad food full of chemicals, opioid crisis, crime. Why the fuck would I subject myself to living in a place like that when I could come here and live a completely different, unrecognizable quality of life for a fraction of the cost? People ask me, Cassius, why did you want to move to Southeast Asia? Why are you even in Vietnam? To me, it's very simple mathematics. Why would I want to live in a... So yeah, call Canada a third world dump. So yeah, let's check out some of these comments. Yeah, and everybody's saying if they're hating, you're doing something right. I know, and I appreciate that. I definitely was not doing it right. Like, I've been doing content for a long time. So like, yeah, I'm glad that I'm at this point. It just takes some getting used to. So let's look at some of these comments. So actually, some people agree Canada's a fourth world country. Someone says living off a Canadian American salary must be nice. Bro, you're goddamn right it's nice. Dude is saying that like it's an insult. Yeah, that's called being smart. Let me see. Actually, a lot of these comments are pretty good. He likes communism. Okay, because Canada is very anti-communist, yes. Oh my God, this is great. See if there's any actual good comments. We all know why you went to Vietnam, buddy. Why? Why did I go to Vietnam? Please stay there. So yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun. Where are you guys watching from, man? I know we have Canadians who we're talking about watching. We have Americans. Where's everybody tapped in from right now? I'm seeing I live in a super safe, super nice part of USA, but I get it. Everyone can't live where I do. I'll be honest with you guys. I would much rather live in America than live in Canada. You look at some of the states, like I would live in like a place in Utah or New Mexico, like a weird, or we'd go Wyoming. We'd go like up in the mountains or something like that. America is such a beautiful country. I love America, and I love Canada too. I mean, I love them both for different reasons, but I do think America gets a lot of unnecessary flack as a country because I'm like, do people even remember like the country they're talking about? Like there's no other country where you could have like the mountains of Wyoming and then San Francisco and then Las Vegas and then New York City and then Denver, Colorado. Like there's so many dope cities. Nothing wrong with Canada? Of course not. There's nothing wrong with Canada. Well, I mean, there's a lot wrong with it, but it's a leadership problem. It's not a people problem. We got ATL in the house, London, Texas, Minneapolis. What's up, guys? Georgia. I wish I could live in Canada, but I'm just not down. It's too messed up, man. And I get scared too. Like, if you're in a place that's messed up and everybody's freaking out about how messed up it is and trying to fix it, I think there's a redeemable angle there. The thing about where I'm at in Canada is like nobody wants to fix anything. They all just act like it's fine. So then I start getting freaked out when I'm there because it feels like I'm living in like the Truman Show. It's like everybody just pretends like, oh, everything's fine. The economy's fine and the mass immigration is fine and just pull up your bootstraps and you're good. And I'm like, no. This live is a breath of fresh air. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. What's my favorite state? State is I haven't been to a whole lot of states. I've been to Nevada, I've been to New York, I've been to Florida. But my favorite, I mean, New York City, I think is the greatest city in the world. I don't care what anybody says. There will be no New York City slander in the chat. I fucking love New York City. And I hate it when people hate on New York because they're so spoiled. They're so spoiled. What other city are you going to get the mix of shit that you get in New York City and it's all there? Like, come on, man. Where am I? I'm in Bangkok, Thailand at the moment. It's a great city. I'm going to be making a video. I'm going to do a stream about like the best and worst things about living in Thailand because I feel like I talk about the positives and I don't talk about the negatives at all. So I'm going to do a stream about it. But yeah, Bangkok's a cool city to live in. I won't spoil it. But yeah, there's some stuff that sucks. The fucking air quality is horrible. It's nightmarish, the air quality in Asia. I will give you guys that. That's the one thing I hate about living here. All right, let's hop into another story. So we have a couple highlights. Should we look at this one? So this was a video that's going viral again about Fauci. Let's take a look at this video. So this is when Fauci was knocking on people's doors, and people are super happy about the way that this individual reacted to Dr. Fauci. If you guys are liking the stream, make sure to hit the like and subscribe, by the way. Shout out to GR. You're a great guy, brother. I appreciate you. I'm trying to play the clip, but you guys' chat is so interesting. I haven't been to Europe ever, guys. So London, Amsterdam. I was just dating this girl from, well, I shouldn't say where she's from. She's European. And she was, yeah, prepping me about that. All right, let's play the clip. This is really something.
People in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to. You know
how many years were invested in?
Can you guys imagine if you just like popped an edible for the night and you open up your door and it's Anthony Fauci? Like, if I ever open my door and it's Anthony Fauci at my door, we're gonna have a problem. Like, for and I don't endorse violence. I'm not saying that. But you don't want to knock on my door, Dr. Fauci. I'll tell you what.
Something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
My guy, bro, I need to buy this guy a beer. Can somebody find out who this guy is? Dude's standing on business. He's got cameras in his face. And by the way, if the vaccine was really that good, do you think they'd have to be strong-arming people like this? Like, you got a team of people showing up at the door with their arms folded. Like, sir, you're going to have to take this vaccination, please. It's not really helping my sentiment towards the medicine. Like, I've never heard of a medication or a vaccine that requires people to bang on your door and have an intervention with you to take it.
And
it's much more serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually, too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Well, the number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
Yes, bro. Shout out this dude. Fake numbers, fake shots. And I'm tired of pretending it's not, by the way, because I already went through it during COVID. I already got called crazy. I already got ostracized. W guy.
Again,
right
that's
here.
you all's number.
You gonna pass.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, there's something else going on with that. Something else going on.
It is something going on.
There's something else.
She admits there's something going on.
Something else going on with that. Something else going on.
It is something going on.
Hang on a second. No, I would say, okay, you guys got to get off my porch now. What do you mean there is something going on?
What's going on with that? Something else going on.
It is something going on.
Something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people.
She's like, shit, I regret getting it too now. She's like, this motherfucker's spitting. He's making a lot of sense. She's listening to this dude and she's like, wait, I already took the shot. I want to join his team.
Me and most everybody here didn't get an incentive. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city.
Well,
but I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
That didn't go the way you thought it would, did it? Oh, man. This is a classic video. And see, I love going back to these videos like a year or two later because I've said it before. I truly do believe that when you're living through history, it's hard to really grasp it until a little bit of time has passed and you're removed from the scenario. And obviously we know that COVID is and the pandemic is going to be in the history books and it's going to be something talked about forever. But I think like the impact of it, at least for me, is still sinking in. And I think like the gravity of it and the layers of it as well. There's a lot of layers with the lockdowns, with the medicines, with all the different numbers, very multi-layered, very complex story that I would be willing to bet that we still don't know all the details behind it either. I mean, you know, what we know is probably the tip of the iceberg. Nonetheless, I think it's crazy to look at these types of videos. And yeah, we got psyoped. I mean, it was a 3-year-long psyop, dude. It was the craziest thing ever. But shout out to all the people who didn't fold. Shout out to everybody who's unvaccinated. Unvaccinated gang. No shots required. And I appreciate you guys because you didn't fold. And I had everybody in the world trying to get me to fold. I would not fold. They told me you're never going to travel again. I said, shit, I better get a couple more snow jackets because I'm going to be in the snow for the rest of my life. Because if I'll never travel again, if I don't get the shot, then I'll never travel again. I was not able to go to a movie theater in Canada without a vaccine passport. I was not allowed to go to a mall food court without a vaccine passport. I was allowed to basically walk down the street and go in and out of 7-Eleven. I did it with a smile because I'm not going to be strong-armed into taking experimental medicine. And I had to go to the hospital during COVID to get stitches. I cut my fucking hand open, which was fun. I cut my hand open. I had to go to get stitches. And I was interrogated by the people at the hospital in Canada about why I did not have a COVID vaccine. They didn't just ask me once. They asked me, I would say probably 24 times. So you don't have a shot? No shot at all? None? Not even a booster? Not an mRNA? Not any of these? Kept asking. Have you had COVID? Well, why didn't you get the shot? Would you get the shot? Are you going to get the shot? By the time they came in to stitch me up and shoot stuff into my hand, I was damn near too scared to let them come near me with a needle because they were trying to strong-arm me about this vaccine. I don't care, okay? I had COVID once. I laid in a bed and died for 2 weeks, and I never caught it again. That's called natural immunity, and I'm not a doctor, but I don't care. We got to stop being, I'm not going to sit here and act like any of this shit made sense. And I don't need to be a doctor to know this shit made no sense. When you have me walking into a restaurant with a mask on, and then I sit down in the same restaurant and then take it off after walking in, that's idiotic. That's just stupid. And I don't need to have a fucking degree to know that's stupid. When you have a plastic sheet in front of me while we're shopping at Walmart to block the particles when it can just go all the way around in the open air and we're breathing in the same air, it's all bullshit. All of that stuff was bullshit. So I'm not going to sit here and be told you need to be some sort of medical professional to know that was bullshit. Unbelievable. And I do think masks work, by the way. Masks do generally work. Here in Asia, they wear masks. That's just what they do. But you have to understand. You have to listen to what I'm telling you, though. If you have me wear a mask to walk in the door and then I can take it off when I walk in, none of that shit is based in medical science. Is there medical science against masks and different things? Yes. What they had us doing during COVID was performative. That's what they had us doing during COVID was not actually based in medical science for the most part. Siamese says, I tested positive for COVID and then ran a sub 24-second 200 meter at my workout the next day. That's insane. Holy shit. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let me see. Glad you stayed in bed for the whole 2 weeks and didn't get more vulnerable people sick. Yeah, dude, I couldn't even leave the house when I had COVID, and I don't know what it was. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and play doctor. But when people talk about the disease being chemically engineered or mixed with different things, I would believe that because it felt like there was something foreign inside of my body. It didn't feel like a germ that I'd caught before. It felt like there was something foreign that had entered my body. I felt like the host to some kind of parasite when I had COVID. And yeah, I had an apartment at the time that had a glass door shower. Fuck, I miss that apartment so much. I had it made at this point. I had my full-time media job. I had my apartment with the steam shower, 50-inch TV at the foot of my bed, and a badass girlfriend. I was living like a doctor at this point. I was living good. I had the steam shower, so I just sat in that steam shower and rotted for 2 weeks, coughing up shit. And it was fucked up, man. It was really, really a scary experience. You guys got COVID though, right? I feel like probably everybody got it, no? It was man-made. I would believe it was man-made. Okay, let's look at some other stuff, guys. Shout out to everybody who's subscribed so far. I appreciate that. Make sure to keep hitting that sub. We're live almost every single day. New content every single day. And if you guys want to have a message pop up on the screen, you can hit the TTS donation. There's a link in the chat. It's in the pinned comment, and you guys can actually have your message pop up on screen for everybody to hear it. Also a good way to support the stream as well. I'm not funded by corporate media. I'm not a disciple of Peter Thiel. I'm not on the Soros payroll. This is coming out of my pocket. So if you guys appreciate what I'm doing, please show some love. And thank you for that. What do we have next? I want to go to something a little bit different. Should we... I don't know. Soon we're going to go on monkey.com and try to interview some people live. It's like a chat roulette type of shit. We're going to do that. I want to get my interview skills better with randoms. Oh, yeah, Tucker had one where he was talking about running for president. Let's look at that one. What did you guys think? You think Tucker could win the presidency or not?
There was something else that Ted Cruz said in his little rant about you. He said, Tucker says there's no one on planet Earth.
I appreciate that. If you're trying to donate, you can do YouTube Super Chat or the link in the description. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Hates more than Christian Zionists, and he blamed in particular me and Mike Huckabee as objects of his ire, and I wear that as a...
Who's mad? As for Ted Cruz, he says he's running against me for president. I almost want to run for president just to debate Ted Cruz, because I think it would go about the way it went last time. And for my part, I deeply enjoyed it, which is why I've never tweeted about it, because I just keep that little spark of joy inside me for rainy days. And I think about that conversation and smile.
You know, Polymarket is running a who should be the Republican presidential nominee in 2028. J.D. Vance is in the lead, 39%, Marco Rubio 28%, as you may expect. And then comes Ron DeSantis, but you're fifth, albeit at 2% at the moment. Ted Cruz is only 1%, so you're twice as popular as Ted Cruz already to be the Republican nominee. I mean, my question for you, Tucker, about that. I know you said you'll
that laugh gets me every time.
Never do this, but I would ask the question and throw it back at you. Well, why wouldn't you? Given there's this huge ideological battle going on for the conservative right of America, and it's a real split like we've never seen before, and it's over so many issues now. And given that you're clearly on one side of this and clearly spearheading one part of this, why wouldn't you actually run to preserve the heart and soul of the Conservative Party as you see it?
It's not what I do. You know, I have no love of politics. I actually think it's disgusting. I don't understand it very well. It doesn't come naturally to me. Coalition building, you know, I just don't, where you kind of pretend you believe something or de-emphasize another belief in order to get people together to vote for the same person. That's not my default position. I just kind of say what I think. And so I don't know that I'd be good at it, A. B, I think it's very tough to be the president. I've learned that by watching over many years, and because you are constrained in ways that you should not be constrained, but you are. And it's not just because of Israel and its proxies, though that's the number one reason, but there are other reasons. And one is the size of the agencies. They're autonomous. They're countries. How do you get them under control? Some of them are dangerous. And so that's hard. It's really hard. I don't know that I'd be great at that. And there's a risk, of course, involved.
But see, that's the type of guy that should be the president. I've always thought that. The guy who's like, I don't know if I could do this, or like this doesn't, like, you know, I don't have the hunger to be that guy, like to be running everything. to have some humility towards the position. And I don't endorse Tucker for president. I'm not saying that. But I would rather have a guy who says this actually be the president than the guy who's like, I could do that. Give me the keys, bitch. Like, this is my shit. This whole Oval Office, this is my shit. This is easy. That approach, the ego behind that approach, not as appealing to me as the guy who's like, well, maybe I could do it, but I don't see myself as like the end-all, be-all leader of the free world. I'd rather that perspective.
Mostly
it's healthier, I think.
Because it's just not what I've done. And I hate egomania. I hate hubris and the idea like, I've been a successful cable news host, I should be president. Like, that whole way of thinking is disgusting to me. However, if I got to run against Ted Cruz and debate him again on camera, I would run for Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. I'd run for Pope. I'd run for head of the library board. I would run for anything for the opportunity to do that and watch Ted Cruz and it appeals to the mean part of me, I think. All you need to do with Ted Cruz, another Harvard graduate. All the dumbest people went to Harvard. That's a talking point, but it's actually real. Ted Cruz went to Harvard. Bill Ackman, who's like a moron, went to Harvard. And Ben Shapiro went to Harvard. Anyway, if he's like this famously brilliant guy who's silver-tongued Ted Cruz, he's going to be on the Supreme Court. You ask him the simplest question possible. I'm only capable of dumb questions because I'm not a genius. Like, what's the population of Iran? What Bible verse are you talking about? Dumb stuff. He can't answer any of it. Like,
so yeah, I'm seeing in the chat a lot of people are saying they wouldn't endorse Tucker. I wouldn't endorse Tucker Carlson for president, and I actually am refreshed though by his perspective on that. I really like his answer. Either Tucker is a really humble guy or he's really good at faking it, because the way that he comes across lately on his show and in interviews, I mean, he's really selling the all-American, Christian, regular guy persona quite well. He's selling it. It's coming across as quite genuine. He's coming across as humble. And, maybe he's fooling me. It's definitely possible. But if he's not being sincere, he's definitely a good actor. And I like the way that he's coming across here. Now, it could be a virtue signal. It could be part of his greater agenda. I don't know what it is. Because I'll tell you guys, having been on, this side of the camera and this side of the microphone for over 15 years, I've come to understand the way this thing works quite well. And all of these people who are at certain levels who are doing what I'm doing, people who are funded by certain groups, people who have access to certain connections, I just tend to feel like they aren't really to be generally trusted. I mean, we can get a certain vibe from them that maybe we can read as accurate. But a guy like Tucker, I could never trust him just based on the position he's in, based on his history, based on the fact that he's been a mouthpiece. He does have connections to federal entities and government entities. And it's just not a person I would ever trust. And I feel the same way about all these other guys, whether I like their shows or not. I don't trust any of these guys. I feel like they're all mouthpieces for somebody. So that's why I wouldn't endorse him to be president. But nonetheless, I think it's good to hear that he's not falling into this lane of like, well, I'm a TV host and I'm famous so I can be president. And that to me is one of the biggest confusing things that I'll see. Like when people will be like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson should be president. And I'll be like, why would you say that? They're like, I love The Rock. So it's like, okay, so you love The Rock, so that makes you think that he should be the president? Like, what type of stupid mentality is this? And I don't think we're going to see this happen again. Look, after Trump, if we can't include the cycle where he didn't win, but he's been in our orbit now for a decade. The Trump political thing has been in our orbit for 10 years. I don't think after this we're going to vote in another reality star, another actor. I think it's done. I think people have had enough for a little while because, it just becomes a lot. And yeah, it's not a marker of good leadership. It's not a marker of good ideas, just that you're a talking head on a show. That doesn't mean that you're going to be a good leader or the person to run shit. And I think that as a society, we should probably move away from that mentality. Like, we don't need Snoop Dogg to run for president. It's not a popularity contest. Maybe let's actually get back to making this thing serious? Like, you know, the government used to be a serious thing. Now I look at the White House Twitter and they're like making edits, blowing up bodies to Travis Scott Fiend as the soundtrack. Like, I don't know what happened. I thought the government was a serious thing. I didn't think it was Jake Paul and, you know, these dumb fucking retards. Pardon my language, but I didn't think this is what it was to have a government. I didn't think the Paul brothers and Little Pump and all these people would be part of it. But, I mean, this is crazy. We're posting, like, Call of Duty style edits. Everybody likes my shirt tonight. Thanks, guys. It makes me think of the movie Idiocracy. Beastie, exactly, dude. Yeah, we can pull up a bunch of clips, guys. I just want to stay on stream. You wish I did more due diligence footage during clips like this rather than talking with video paused. That's good feedback. I appreciate that. No, that's good feedback. I must work on my volume. How's this? Is this better? You guys are helping me produce the show. I appreciate it. Look, if I don't do everything right, so if you guys think that there's feedback, then please. We watched the Jake Paul interview yesterday on stream, so go watch yesterday's stream after this. Let's go to this clip. So this is a clip of Eddie Bravo on Joe Rogan. I wanted to play this because we've talked about vindication and people who've called a lot of things out in the past and now been vindicated. I think Eddie Bravo is the perfect example of this. And for anybody who doesn't remember or doesn't know, Eddie Bravo was the conspiracy theorist, the resident conspiracy theorist of the Joe Rogan podcast. And he would regularly get clowned on the Joe Rogan podcast for being that guy. And you know, I do think it's worth saying a lot of his conspiracy theories were pretty out there. We're not going to sit here and act like Eddie Bravo was correct about everything. But he was correct about a lot of things. And Epstein and all this stuff tied in with that whole situation was one of the things that he was very much correct about. Let's go back to this clip. It's being said that Eddie Bravo predicted that Iran would pop off in connection to and around the time of Jeffrey Epstein. Let's take a look at this one.
I think everything that's going on right now in the world is linked to Jeffrey Epstein. That's what I think. I think
everything?
I think everything.
Man. Trump shit, everything?
Everything.
Everything?
Who's
UFOs?
connected? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you know,
yeah,
look,
all of it. All of it.
Since I met you, we've discussed UFOs. UFOs have been around. They've been talking about them since Jesus.
Oh, shit. Shout out Uncle Joey, bro. I didn't think Joey was in this clip. That's my dog right there.
Discussed UFOs. UFOs have been around. They've been talking about them since Jesus left Chicago.
Right.
But the last 3 fucking years, everybody's seen fucking UFOs.
Yeah.
How about that Miami shit? Come on. Come on, dog.
The people who did coke for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's what you saw. You didn't see no fucking aliens. But that's what they're selling all over. Now people from the Navy.
It's a distraction.
All of a sudden, all these pilots. Yeah. I was going here and they were driving right next to me, waving at me.
So fake.
Really? And now you decide to fucking tell me.
This is what I think.
Tell me.
There's a lot of important people that were on that list, right?
Right.
A lot from all over the world.
Most of them have been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Right.
I love how Joe sits there and, oh, yeah, really? Is there important people on the list? Yeah, most of them sit across from you, Joe. Remember the Peter Thiel episode or any of those shows? What are we doing, Joe? Was there really people on the Epstein list who are billionaires? That's literally how Joe sounds when he really.
There's a lot of important people that were on that list, right?
Right.
A lot from all over the world.
Right.
Politics,
music,
Hollywood,
actors.
You saw the list is out, dog. No ass right there.
No
Chris
athletes.
Tucker pretty much said it was real.
Yep.
Not that everybody on the list did shit. Who knows? It would be easy to, like you said, drag. Like if in the 90s, Or in the 2000s, if people would have liked my music and I would have had a record deal, thank God nobody liked it.
And if somebody said, hey, you want to come to the island?
Let's go to an island, dog. There's a billionaire. He's got a bunch of bitches that we're going to party. I think I would have went, dog. You know what I mean? Then you go,
And you're talking to a scientist.
And then you're like, dude, people brought their kids? You're like, no, dude, those are the bitches. Like, oh, shit.
No,
I'd be on a
wait a
fucking
minute,
kayak, dog. I'd be on a fucking kayak. Well, where's Miami, dog? Listen, how far is Florida?
What do you think is
the bitches?
What do you think? What do you think this UFO thing is? What do you think the UFO
I
thing
think,
is?
okay, no. The
I'm
point
asking
is,
Joey.
no, this is the point.
Okay,
This is the point. My point is, the people that are on the list would rather, like, if they had a choice, you want to go to jail for this shit as a pedophile, or would you rather have World War III? Would you rather have fucking civil war? Would you rather have a fake alien invasion where the world changes, like the whole world changes right away? Where would you go? Would you rather go to Guantanamo Bay? Would you rather go to prison, or would you rather have World War III?
Let
Mad
him cook.
Max alien invasion.
Let him cook.
That's what I think. World War III would save them. Alien invasion would save them, and a civil war will save them. So they want all that shit, dog.
Anarchy.
They want all that. They want complete chaos so they don't go to jail. That's what I think.
I think the people that went to the island, that's
a pretty good point. I mean, a lot of people have made this point too. What do you guys think? Who here thinks that this whole Iran situation is a distraction from the Epstein files? I mean, look, pretty strong chance. Pretty strong chance. I'm not going to rule it out.
Chaos so they don't go to jail. That's what I think.
I think the people that went to the island, that's where things get real weird.
No, but you could go to the island and not know either.
And he also had a place in Manhattan. He was famous for having big parties at this house in Manhattan that he got from the guy who owned Victoria's Secrets.
The most expensive mansion.
Guy gave him this
$75 million mansion.
There was other guys that were like these big hedge fund guys that gave him like $100 million. Gave it to him.
And they can't track why.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why he was so powerful.
He did
and
a
then
great
also
job
Trump's on the
helping me
list,
money.
but Trump was like, "Nah, we hitched a ride to Trump Towers."
What you got to look
Atlantic
into,
City.
what you got to look into is Ghislaine Maxwell was his partner, but Ghislaine Maxwell's father, or what the fuck, Ghislaine? Ghislaine. Look into her father, Robert Maxwell.
Ghislaine is more appropriate. We gotta give her a new name.
Yeah.
All the answers are right there.
Yeah, other people agree that is a distraction. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the entire reason that they're at war. I think, there's other things at play. But it certainly helps. And yeah, I think there has to be some sort of catalyst that changes everything to get people off of this topic. And so I think that at very least, if they're not doing it as a coordinated attempt to distract from this, they're at least taking advantage of it and using it to their advantage to distract. I mean, it's not hurting. It's definitely getting eyes off of the Epstein case. The story is dying a little bit too. I mean, I look it up every day. I look up every day different things to cover on the stream. And like when you go to news for Jeffrey Epstein, it used to be like articles every hour. Now I'm like, there's one day ago, 2 days ago, but there's nothing like crazy coming out. And this is kind of what I was anticipating. I mean, if you go and look at the past shows, we talked about this, but I was really getting the feeling that they gave us all of these heavily redacted files. They had a couple of performative arrests, quote unquote, because the people were all released like within hours. So they had the performative arrests in the UK. They had the performative deposition, so to speak, of the Clintons and that whole court hearing, which was performative because nothing came out of it. The Clintons went home at the end of that. The Clintons went home. There was nothing came out of it. So they released these heavily redacted files. They give us a little bit of a circus on TV. And now they're like, all right, you got some accountability now, so leave us alone. That's kind of what I was anticipating, and it does feel like we're approaching that point. It's, it feels like we're approaching that point. Let's see what else we got. Should we hop on monkey.com and talk to some people or what? I just don't want any creepy any flashers on there. I'll have to hide the screen until I find people to talk to. Some freaky people on the internet. Somebody saying there was viral footage of Epstein in Miami. Oh yeah, I did see that actually. Can we try to find that? So yeah, people are saying that they found Epstein. Hold on, Epstein Miami. Epstein Miami. Fuck, these AI videos are so creepy. Can we ban AI from these apps, dude? Look, okay. Epstein out here in South Florida. What the fuck?
Jeffrey Epstein was allegedly spotted in South Florida. And with a zoom, he also has the mole of who he was. With this guy was the one that recorded, seeming very concerned of that.
Where's the OG video? I want to see the OG video. Jeffrey Epstein car, should we put? Jeffrey Epstein car. I'm spelling it wrong. Here. Oh my god, that looks just like him. Holy, that looks like him. What do you guys think? Is he alive? Wait, what was that? What the fuck? Who the hell did this? No way. What the fuck is wrong with people? That's fucked up. Holy shit. Okay, let's see what else there is. I don't think it's actually him. I mean, I think that the chances that it's actually him are pretty slim. Oh, they're showing creepy shit on here. Yeah, what was this video? Oh, man, this video was fucking nasty. He was showing like some STD or something that he got. Oh, man. Let me see.
What about human life? What about it? Tell me what do you think? What do you think human life is?
It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Fucking TikTok is a terrible online browser, man.
What about it?
Tell me what do you think? What do you think human life is?
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. And when I say miracle, I can't explain it, and I make no attempt to explain it at the moment. We don't know how to think about it. And anyone, it's again another one of the Feynman quotes when he was talking about quantum physics. He said, anyone, Jeffrey, who...
What are you, class 3?
Son of a bitch. Okay, we're going to get off TikTok. A lot of people in my chat think it's him. There's new information about the